Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning. A little bit of technical difficulties this morning, but this is the Mic Drop Show, where we talk about real estate, real freedom, and real results that you can attain. I'm your host, Mike Morawski, investor, educator, and your favorite deal sourcing, cash flow obsessed guide through this wild world of multifamily real estate. Hey, my interviews with eight-figure investors, we talk about deal breakdowns, capital raising strategies, and war stories from the field. This is the show for professionals who want to go from paychecks to portfolios. So if you're feeling this energy, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and follow wherever you're watching or listening from. If you got questions or you have comments, DM me, put them in the comment box today. Your topic might just be the next topic on the Mic Drop Show. All right, this week we go live every week on Wednesday, and this week we are going to work on a couple of questions that have come in. This year weekly wealth workout. So let's dig right in. Hey, one thing I want to comment on is that yesterday we had our full day boot camp and we talked about capital raising. We got started yesterday morning early and ran all day. It was a great event. I had Dugan Kelly on who talked about the legal aspects of syndications and raising capital. I had Karen Hall on with UDirect who talked about self-directed IRAs. And I had a great panel on. I had Michael Wagman and Kevin Dugan and Marichelle and Yannick on. And we just talked about capital raising all day long, went through the structure. So if you were not at the event and you'd like to get a replay of that, reach out to us. We'll get you a copy of that. It was a great day, though. We have this world of multifamily right now. We're seeing things change. And one of the things I always comment on is that there are no geniuses in this business. There is strictly market cycles, and we are coming out of a market cycle. You can see it starting to happen now. So if you're a private investor, if you're an active investor, don't be hesitating anymore. Come in off the sidelines. I have to tell you, with what's been happening in the stock market and some of the changes going on there and this tariff thing, this is a time that people are going to be looking for these alternative investments. I talked to an investor over the weekend. He said he lost 17% in his stock portfolio and had to find some other options of where he would be able to make that up. So, if you're a capital raiser, now's the time to be talking to people, planting those seeds, and starting to raise capital for that next acquisition that you're working on. So one of the first questions I got over the week here was that, there's a comment that gets made a lot that people say, hey, I fell in love with this deal. And, one of my thoughts is that you can't fall in love with the deal. If you're married to that deal, then you have a tendency not to see the red flags along the way. Every deal has those issues and has those things that we have to look at, whether it be in the underwriting, whether it be in the physical due diligence, whether it be in the staffing of the property. But you have to look at those things along the way. And if you're in love with any deal, you're gonna miss those things. I always tell the story about a deal that I was looking at in Dallas, Texas. A number of years ago. Sun was up. The landscapers were out. You could smell the fresh cut grass. You could see the steam coming off of the swimming pool. You could hear the lawnmower in the distance, the birds chirping in the trees. And I was walking this property and I could just feel that overwhelming urge of falling in love with the property. And as I walked that property and said, wow, I really want to buy this asset and we're going to buy this deal, and not looking at some of the issues that were there. Well, needless to say, fast forward a month or so into it, the due diligence proved up a lot of issues and a lot of problems. And we decided not to buy that property. But, that was where I really started to realize that if you start falling in love with an asset and that piece of real estate, because you like the look of it, you like the feel of it, you miss the problems. And on this particular asset, there were 4 chillers on the property, and chillers are always a lot of work. And there were some issues with the collections and the debt and some of the operations. And we just decided to walk away from it during the due diligence process because it wasn't worth the effort that would have had to be put in. So just, there's all kinds of war stories. Hey, you might know somebody that's got some great war stories, somebody that might be a great guest on this show. During the month of April here, we're going to just be going live. I'm just going to be talking about some questions that we get from coaching clients and we get from people along the way. If you're somebody who has questions, feel free to ask me anything. And whether it's during the show or during the week, but reach out and, your question might be the next one that's on the show here. Yeah. Another question that I new investors, what an interesting thought, right? This family game, raising capital, it's such a mindset game. We have to make sure that our mind is in it, that we believe in ourselves, that we believe in the math around the deal, that we believe in what we're doing. I think a lot of times people feel like they're an imposter because they feel like, and I hear this a lot, that they feel like that they're borrowing money from people and that they don't like borrowing money. Well, when you're raising capital, you're not borrowing money from anybody. What you're doing is you're offering those people an investment opportunity that will help them further their financial situation in life. If you have a deal that is going to perform, that's going to pay a cash flow, that's going to build some long-term wealth for those people, that's going to give them some tax planning strategies, which is what we try to do in this multifamily space, then why do you feel like you're raising capital? It's all a mindset. A lot of times people, they'll go to a networking event and they'll be talking to somebody and somebody will ask them what they do and they stumble around. They really can't get out exactly what they do. And I say, have a great elevator pitch. Write it out for yourself. Stand in front of the mirror every day. Recite it 10, 15 times every day till it becomes part of you. It becomes part of who you are, your DNA. That elevator pitch could just be like, here's what I say, right? If somebody wants to meet me, and I'm talking to somebody at a networking event and they say, hey, what do you do? I say, well, I'm the chief investment officer for a multifamily fund. We go out, we buy large apartment complexes in specific markets around the US. And then we partner with private investors just like you to share in those profits. Is that something you'd have an interest in? And you know what? It's short, it's sweet, it's simple, but I believe in it. I believe in what I do. I believe in that I give to that investor a gift, and that gift be of some financial freedom and some financial wealth, short term as well as long term. And the more you believe in that imposter syndrome will go away. The more you believe in yourself and the product that you're bringing to the market, it's so much easier to talk to people about a deal that you have, about investing. We do, primarily multifamily, market rate rent multifamily. We don't get sidetracked in tax deals or affordable housing. We do a little bit of commercial or light industrial products where we add multiple streams of income to those to create more revenue for the investor, more passive cash flow along the way, with some longer term high yield positions. So, we do a couple of different things, but we're really focused on what I do. And, it's a belief system. As long as you believe in your product, as long as you believe in the gift that you're giving to that investor, that imposter syndrome will go away. So work on your mindset. Understand the deal, understand who you are, and believe in yourself. And when that's part of you, part of your DNA, it's so much easier to deliver that message. And, if you need any help around writing an exit or an elevator pitch, or if you need any help or but I still get fear, like I'm going to screw up. You know, Listen, everybody goes through. For operational enhancements, for rent growth, for expense reductions. And, it looks great on paper, it looks great in the underwriting, but it comes down to the execution. So, if you've got good numbers and then you've got a really good team that helps with the execution and the development of that business plan, there should be no reason that you're going to feel like you're going to screw up. There should be a confidence that you have in that. And you know what? That comes over time. It's not something on my first deal or my second deal that I learned how or had the ability to master, but it comes over time. And the more deals you do, the more underwriting you do, the more belief you have in yourself. So much easier to believe in the numbers, believe in the process, believe in yourself. All three of these questions this morning really reflect around mindset. They really have kind of reflected around who you are, what you believe in, and that belief needs to start in you and the message that you provide, the product that you provide, and helping others succeed through the gift that you give. I really feel if you're a multifamily investor and you're an active investor, you're a GP, you're a sponsor, you're giving people a gift, right? If you are putting together a team and you're running that team, playing an integral part on that team, maybe as a capital raiser or an underwriter or an acquisition due diligence uh, person or the compliance person, you're offering that team and those investors a gift. And it's your knowledge, it's your ability to process data and information. It's your ability to share the story and to provide that financial growth and financial freedom for people. So I hope that kind of brings some clarity and helps you a little bit here this morning. Mindset in what we do is so important, and I don't think it gets talked about enough. We all talk about anybody who coaches or trains talks about structure and development and how to, and which is all stuff that we need to know, and it's great stuff. But the mindset piece, I think, gets left out a lot, and it's really working with and I work with my coaching clients on this every week. Every week we're either on a group call or on a one-on-one call on my partnership programs, and I walk them through that belief system, and we do a check-in. Here's one of the interesting things is once a quarter I'll take my clients and we'll walk through where are you at mentally, where are you at in your personal life, your professional life, and how do we help enhance that, right? And I don't do it only through asking questions and self-realization that they get from that. So hoping you have a mentor, hoping you have a coach that helps you along the way with your mindset. because it'll help you get rid of the imposter syndrome. It'll help you believe in the numbers and feel like you're not going to screw up. And it's going to keep you from falling in love with deals. And those are the three big questions that we talked about this week. So I appreciate you being here and listening in this morning. I hope that this gave you a little bit of insight, a little bit of information, but that's a wrap for today on today's episode of the Mic Drop Show. So I hope you're walking away with a nugget, a mindset shift, or a straight up blueprint that's going to help you move forward. If I can do anything for you, don't hesitate to reach out. Let me know. Drop me a question, DM me a question, and we'll get it on next week's show. If you know somebody who would be interested in being on the show, starting in May, I'm going to be bringing some guests on. So I love people to come on, talk about capital raising, talk about deal acquisition, underwriting, talk about some of the fundamentals that go into it, and, you know, how they keep their mind in the business. You know, wealth doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design and by action. And, you know, as I said earlier, you can have these great plans, you can have these numbers, these strategic underwriting plans, but take action. You've got to move the ball forward every day. So your mind has to stay in the game. So whether you're just getting started or you're scaling up, leveling out, you know, keep showing up. If this episode has given you value, do me a solid, would you? And smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow us for more. I'm always trying to bring good, relevant content for you to help you build your business. Share this with somebody who really needs to use it to build their portfolio, and not gain just a paycheck, but to build a future for yourself. You know, they say that if you have a paycheck, you have a life, but if you have a future, you're designing your life. So if you've got questions, again, I want to help you get those addressed. I'll cover them. Send me an email. Remember, we'll be here same time next week, same energy next week. But until then, stay focused, stay committed, stay flowing, stay cash flowing. Have a great week, everybody.